We are just inside the Beltway, about 10 miles east of the Capitol Dome as we come to you from FedEx Field here in Landover. Today, it's the first weekend of autumn, and the NFL is in full swing as off we go on EA Sports. That'll be taken in the end zone, and he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. So out comes the Redskins offense now onto the field. And a look here at their go-to guy under center. Starts with a run by Allen, and he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Footing's definitely going to be an issue because it's tough to make those quick cuts that you're used to making on a soggy track. In fact, a Hall of Fame runner once told me, cut on your heels in this type of weather. Gives you better balance.
And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. That catch good for 5. It's third down. And this O-line, it is the lifeblood of the offense.
They establish the tone. Mean, nasty, physical. They can't wait to get after people. That allows the rest of the offense to feel confident.
Third play here, this opening drive, as they're up against a 3rd and 5. Complete. And he's got the first down yardage as he brings this out to the 47. And give him 17 yards that time as that'll move the chains.
For many teams, the evaluation of tight ends has really changed. We used to wonder about how they would block first and foremost. Now we want to know how these guys can run because we envision them in offenses catch the ball. How much yardage can they gain after that?
And that on display there for a good pickup. They'll look to throw now on first down. He's got his man on the crossing route. Touchdown, Washington. A big play there. His first touchdown of the new season. And the Redskins have taken a first-quarter lead. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
Dustin Hopkins on now to add the extra point. And we'll see if this rain affects the team's decisions going forward, but they kick it here, and it's good. A drive there of just 4 plays. And the result, a touchdown for Washington. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. It's a short kick, taken at the 15. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. So here are the Panthers now for their opening drive. And leading them out there, we get a look at their 6'3" quarterback. They'll run it now out of the gun. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. He goes for 18 there as the drive will continue.
How many times do we say in this game that speed kills, and it does it in so many different ways? In this case, we got a back who's quick and shifty. Can make moves, make people miss, but also gets to and through a hole before it can close down. That's some of the benefits of that speed, not just outrunning people in the secondary, and that led to a really nice gain.
They'll look to throw here on first down. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. These are his numbers from last week's contest. 6 catches, 54 yards.
And I'd certainly expect them to use him quite a bit because he runs excellent routes, has good hands, and knows how to get open.
On first down, he'll drop to throw. And he slides to avoid the hit. Call it a gain of 5, and it'll bring up a second down. And the Buffet boys, the O-line, hopefully they're ready today.
Listen, you got to feed them first. But if you do, you usually get a great product out on the field. And when they play well, the quarterback can't wait to feed them afterwards.
Looking to throw. Going right side here, and that's complete. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. A really nice pickup of 14 yards, and it moves the sticks. Now the offense lining up 1st and 10. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. And the big meat on the D-line. We'll see how they do today.
And I'd hate to be an offensive lineman having to deal with these guys. They come in hungry, mean, and confident. They think that no one can block them.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. No gain on that one as it brings up a 3rd and 10. And he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom. Quick, quick, quick. And what a terrific play, holding them to no gain.
And the Redskins have an extra man in the secondary here on 3rd. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. And he will take it across for a Panthers touchdown. A try here for the extra point. It's good, and we're all tied at 7 apiece. So this drive spans 7 plays, and the end result, a Panthers touchdown. So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
They begin the drive on the ground with Allen. And he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down. Partner, your thoughts on this D-line?
I love a unit that can control the run and get after the passer. This is an all-around terrific defensive front. Hard to move the ball against them on the ground, and then when you want to throw it, look out. Here they come after the quarterback.
Counting down toward the midway point in quarter one. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
I think that was a pretty good read right there. They caught him in zone defense and went to the hitch. And because they're in zone, that creates a natural space between the defenders and the receiver, able to get it to him quickly and let him get upfield.
So they took a shot on first down, but couldn't connect.
Let's go! Blue Lightning! Blue Lightning!
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. And that one goes incomplete. He's maybe lucky it wasn't a fumble as he got hit as he threw it.
And right now I take my rudimentary kindergarten skills and draw where the tackle box would be, because that was close. I thought he was in the tackle box. He has to be very careful where he gets rid of the football from that spot.
Yeah, they say there was a receiver in the area, though.
Yeah. There's always a receiver in the area.
They'll set up a throw. And he'll just toss it away. So he throws it away, and that brings up 4th down. So possession 1 ended in 6. Possession 2 likely going to end in a punt.
And that's okay. They just got to get back to what they worked on in the opening drive and continue to make a few adjustments along the way. It won't be exact because the defense will make a few adjustments themselves. Just get back to your game plan.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. This is taken at the 15. Another spin. 12 yards on the return that time. And the Panthers will take over now, 1st and 10. Now the Panthers offense, they get set to come back onto the field. The last possession, these guys were able to tie the game with a touchdown, and now they'll have a chance to move out in front.
Yeah, let's give a big assist to the defense who got the ball back. The special teams went out there, handled things. They've got it. They've got momentum. I know they're eager to get out there and put it on display.
On first down, they'll run it on the draw play. And they're able to get this one across the 35. The numbers for him from a week ago, 15 carries, 52 yards.
I can't remember the last time we did a game and a coach didn't talk about establishing the run first. But they've lost 2 straight games, so they still want to do that. But they've got to have some contingencies, some other options. Expect them maybe to throw it a little bit to open up things and maybe run it a little bit more later in the game.
He'll look to throw. Going to throw right side here, complete. A really nice gain of 25 yards. So after that big gain, let's see what else the offense has up its sleeve. Back to throw now on first down. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
Well, he kind of forced that one there, didn't he? It's almost like he predetermined where he was going to go with the football.
Yeah, he wasn't really going through progressions. He wanted to go to his top guy. You do that against this defense, they'll make you pay, won't they?
Yeah, they certainly will. They react very quickly to the thrown football.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll be taken down at the 34. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with 3rd and still 7 yards to go. Pretty good little two-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on third down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
They'll drop the throw. And some room to roam now. And brought down, but the juke, the very nice juke, gives him the first down yardage there. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks. Play action here on first down. This will be caught inside the 10. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 to the 5-yard line. And a nice gain at 21 yards. So after that big play, let's see if they can catch their defense maybe on their heels.
Green 39!
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he takes it into the end zone for a Panthers touchdown. A great effort there. His first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Panthers have taken the lead. Solid job up front. Really just a solid job all the way around to get that one in.
Yeah, that was well executed, wasn't it? Well blocked, well run. End result, 6 points.
Touchdown. And he's got it. It's now a 14-7 ball game. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. The Redskins offense now, they head back onto the field and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs. And that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. These are his numbers from last week's contest. And Charles, how do you think he ran the football?
I thought he definitely had his moments. I did think that they could have utilized him a little bit better, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him to see how they're going to use him this week.
We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
Whether it's what we call an even front or an odd front, and an odd front's real easy to figure out. If that guy is lined up over the nose of the center, typically that's an odd front defense. Odd number of people, meaning 3-4 versus the 4-3, which is an even front. You've got to control those guys in the middle. Whether it's the nose or the 2 defensive tackles in a 4-man front, if those guys can't get moved, you cannot run the ball in the middle of the field. And in that play, they were able to actually take care of business.
1 quarter down. 14-7 is the score. We'll head back to FedEx Field after this timeout. Back live, Charles Davis to my right. I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's Redskin football to begin quarter number 2. And they're on the move here. They've got it 1st and 10.
Here we go now. Green 39.
They'll set up to throw. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
It's vitally important to wrap him up immediately because if you let that big guy get ahead of steam up, boy, then you've got real trouble trying to get him down.
But they're able to hold him to a short gain on 1st down. They'll run it now out of the gun. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
tackle's made there by one of the secondary members, and I can guarantee you, having played that spot in the huddle right now or on the field, they're urging for a little bit more support from the guys up front. I actually remember one game where I hopped over a defensive lineman to make a tackle downfield and realized he was 10 yards downfield. That's not good. That's being driven off the line of scrimmage, and you can't have that if you're going to win a game on defense.
They keep it on the ground. Allen again. And he'll get this one down to about the 17. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Now that's the type of play that'll fire up a defense. Hold them to 1 yard on a first down run. It'll be interesting to see if the offense decides to press the run at all, or if they'll abandon it now after gaining only 1 on that play.
Back to throw here. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete. Now play number 7 of this drive, but it's a tough 3rd and 9.
Now let's go. Green, 39. Green.
He'll look to throw. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. 4 yards on the pickup, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
Dustin Hopkins now for the Redskins field goal. And the 11-year veteran bangs it through, and they'll cut the lead back down to 4 now at 14-10. So the scoring drive encompasses 9 plays, but the net gain, 3 points.
And you're going to have drives like that in this league. Sometimes you just got to take the 3 and move on. Always better than nothing.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and he'll take over at the 25. Here again comes the captain of this offense leading his crew back out there now. And they must have seen something leading up to this one that said, hey, we're going to be able to go deep because they've gone deep with a lot of success.
And pick your phrase, pick your code words, your buzzwords, whatever, vertical stretch, deep passes, go routes, right? What's that route you love? What's that route you love? Four verts. All of it working because they're able to find ways to get deep and for him to show off that big arm.
We see some of that big arm right here. He has been great. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. And when you're running the football, one thing you don't want to see is a big boy coming up there to swallow you whole in those D tackles and nose tackles.
No, you're actually counting on your big boys to protect you from them. But on that play, the defensive tackle had the leverage, and he won the battle. No gain, correct?
No gain. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down.
That goes down as a loss against his rushing stats. But really, should he have to absorb that one? He had no chance on that play before they overwhelmed him.
Pretty much on top of him before he could take his first step. Give him 3 on the play, and it'll be 4th down. Here's the Panthers punter now, as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. He punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. And this ball is going to be touched down just shy of midfield. Around the NFL, 2nd quarter in Chicago. And it's the Bears who are off to the early lead. We'll keep you updated on that one as it progresses. Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the 2nd quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game, because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. They got 18 yards out of that one, and it gets him a new set of downs.
Let's make this one simple. What a catch, especially the finishing part of getting his feet in bounds, toe tapping, and, of course, foot dragging.
A little tapestry, if you will.
Ooh, I like it.
And on this challenge, the refs have to take a peek and see whether or not the receiver was able to dot the I with both feet,
while making sure that he possesses the football all the way through the catch.
And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. Now a carry for Allen. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. That'll get them some of what they needed, but they're still left here with a 3rd and 9 forthcoming. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him. So when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
That escapes us, but in the end, the pressure too great, and he goes down.
There's a little bit of defense right there. Nickel set, 5 defensive backs. They just snuffed out every route that was going. Quarterback never got rid of the football.
The Redskins send out their punter. He'll boot it away from about his 35. 46 on his first kick. This one in that neighborhood as well. And not what he was hoping for there, as this will hit in the end zone for a touchback. Now here's the signal caller getting ready to lead this offense again. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of him. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes. But right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter. They'll come out throwing here on first down. Looking middle, and that's complete.
Illegal block in the back. Offense.
So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get this one up to about his 14. It's a gain of 3, and it'll be second down.
Well, obviously, they would have at least liked to have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Instead, now, they're dealing with 2nd and long.
I thought they would have passed it after the penalty. Probably wish they would have now.
Here we go now. Boom,
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Spinning away. That one good for 10 yards. And they're going to have a 3rd down. The Panthers on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6.
All right, here we go. 3, 19.
Now back to throw. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. Good contain. No gain on the screen, and it'll bring up 4th down.
I know you got a baseball background, right?
A little bit. Started in minor league ball.
Yeah, you did some of that, right? What do they do when they do the signals? An indicator, right?
Tells you whether it goes or not, yeah.
Yeah, whether the play's on or not. How about the indicators offensive linemen give when they're getting ready to run a screen pass? And if those get red, well, we just saw that there, didn't we?
No gain.
No gain. Deciphered it and finished the play off.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. Taking it about the 36. They called out a punt of 38 yards officially. And it'll be Redskins football now with a 1st and 10. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. Now, I'm not going to say you completely abandon the passing game, but it would really behoove them to get this running game going more.
That's the identity most teams are seeking. Able to establish themselves, control a game by running it. Have to touch it multiple times in order to have success in this game.
And as we say, yeah, that's right. As we say all the time, that sets up the passing game. I feel like a broken record with that.
Listen, we can be broken records all we want. Bottom line is, lather up that big horse and let him run.
Well, a well-executed blitz, no doubt. Great job by the linebacker. Maybe the quarterback, if he could have seen that, could have audibled there.
Yeah, he needed to be in a different play because that one just meshed perfectly for the defense. All the gaps were filled except for the one the offense really wanted to run through, and that was filled by a big man wanting to make a tackle.
And he made a great tackle. And he'll push his way up to about the 44 here. Give him 2 on that run, and they're still left looking at a 3rd and about 9 to go.
Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. The Redskins send out their punter as he'll come on to kick this one away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And this one hits at the 1, continues on into the end zone for a touchback. And it looks like this will likely be the last play before we hit the 2-minute warning. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. 1:59 to go in the first half. Back to FedEx Field following this short break. Coming up at halftime in a little less than 2 minutes, we'll send you to Orlando where Larry Ridley is standing by. He'll have highlights and analysis of this first half. Now on 1st down, he'll drop to throw it. And that'll be incomplete.
Let's face it, you can run the route tree as many times as you want, get in sync, practice it, do all those things. But once you get to game speed, it doesn't always time up quite that well. That one goes incomplete.
2nd down here after the incomplete pass. Back with one complete. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
And there's another completion to the tight end. And let's face it, it is hard to overthrow a 6'6" target.
It is indeed. Quarterbacks like their speed guys. They like that huge 6'6" target that they've got in him.
They really do. And it reminds me of what one great tight end told me once. He told his quarterback, just make sure you throw it up there. You know, kind of like put up on the top shelf where the kids can't get it.
He gets 7 out of it, and he also gets a first.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the first down. And that's what he just did.
It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. So the offense took the timeout. Looks like they're ready to go as we get set to resume the action.
All right, here we go. Boom, landed.
And he fires one incomplete.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
Let's go. Green, 39. Green.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. And he's got room. And he gets this one all the way down inside the 20-yard line. And now we won't see a play on first down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. And now the offense operates in the red zone. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. He's going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
Quickly here, and that's complete. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense, as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1. So the offensive unit called the TO, and now we are ready to resume play. Out of the gun now on 3rd down. It's going to be incomplete. 12 seconds left.
The positioning here is key. As a defensive back, you're taught 99% of the time, make a play on the football. But in this case, making a play on the man was all the difference. That's what forced the incompletion.
So they won't get a touchdown, but here's a chance to at least get 3 to end the first half. And his kick is good. And that moves him up by a touchdown now at 17-10. And Charles, they get the field goal. Took him a dozen plays, though.
Work with me on this one. You know what I'm about to say, right? Bend but don't break. That's what came into play here for the defense. 12 plays were run at them. They only gave up 3 points. In a lot of ways, that's a win for the defense.
And it's a short kick, taken right around the 19. And you see the clock almost empty, so this is likely the last play in the second quarter. They'll throw now on the final play. And this will be incomplete. 1 second left to go.
That one didn't quite make it to the target, but that's not always a function of the strength of the arm of the quarterback, is it? Sometimes there's just too much pressure there. In any case, the ball doesn't arrive.
Offense looking to avoid a 3rd and long. It's 2nd and 10. Back to throw. Trying to drop one in, but it's incomplete. So we come upon halftime, intermission here with the visiting Panthers taking the lead to the locker room. As we send you down to Orlando where we check in with Larry Ridley and our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Larry.
Okay, Brandon, thanks. And welcome, everyone, to our EA Sports Halftime Report. Let's get to the highlights. The Redskins haven't played their best football and trail because of it. The Panthers will want to come out after the half and really put the pressure on from the start. All right, let's get it going. Here's the first half highlights. Now 1st and 10. Lott's got the catch here on the quick pass, and he'll take this all the way for a touchdown. Down to the middle of the first. Here the pass is completed into coverage. He caps off the 7-play drive with a score. We're brand new at 7. At the end of the first quarter, Fisher is going to look for a gap, and he caps off the 6-play drive with a score. Panthers up by a touchdown. We move late into the second. Kluwe's going to cruise off the right side. He'll end up running for over 20 yards on the play. Panthers would settle for 3 points on the drive. So that's a wrap for us. We'll head back now to FedEx Field for the start of the second half.
Thank you, LR. Appreciate it. A one-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the second half. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. Out come the Panthers. They'll have it first on offense in the third quarter. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Second down now after the pass completion.
Green, 39.
Now a handoff as they run left side. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. So he loses 3 yards there. Now third down.
Well, Brandon, so much for halftime adjustments. They still can't get anything going on the ground. It may be time to loosen things up and start flinging it around a little bit.
The Panthers on third down. They've hit it 50%, 3 of 6 to this point. This is 3rd and 7. They're going to look to throw. Blitz coming, and down he goes. And here the pressure from the outside linebacking spot.
And normally when that happens and they're able to get home, that means the other guys on his team helped him out a lot. But they occupied people to allow it to be no less than a one-on-one situation, allows him to get home.
Here's the Panthers punter now as he's on here to punt it away. And now a high kick here as they'll try to cover this one. Calls for the fair catch, makes the fair catch just inside the 15-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Washington offense will be backed up to start this drive as they've got it 1st and 10. They start the drive with a give to Allen. And he's going to be taken down right at about the 15-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, they held him to a short gain on that one, and it almost felt like on that first run, they were trying to just throw the jab at him. So how do you stop a jab? Get closer and smother it, just as they did on that last play.
They stay on the ground with Allen. And some space here. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. He's able to rip off 32 on that one. It's a first down.
Well, when you're able to break a run against a cover 2 or a 2-deep zone, safeties are back a little ways. What you're counting on is the guys taking care of business up front and then maybe climbing to the second level. That offensive lineman or tight end getting up to the second level and able to block the safety in order to create a big run.
Now making those linemen work with a couple blocks. They look good doing it there. They'll run it now out of the gun. Allen hit. He lost the football. And it's picked up by the Panthers. And they will set up shop in enemy territory at the 42-yard line.
All these years we've been watching the game, I start to get the sense that whenever it rains out, those guys who have to touch the ball and carry it, they're extremely resentful about that weather.
Yeah, I'm just happy I'm not resentful that we have a roof over our heads. I know that much.
Yeah, maybe we won't fumble our play sheets here as we just saw the fumble happen on the field.
Here come the Panthers now, set to take over on offense. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
Well, not to get too overcritical there because he knows what he's doing, but his shoulders went a little off kilter there when he threw that.
I don't think you're being overly critical there. You're just analyzing it, and he gets those shoulders right. That pass will go from incomplete to complete.
He'll try again with the arm here on second down. And he's going to get this inside the 30. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs. So the offense has it 1st and 10. Going to give this time to the tailback. Might have gotten this one down to the 28, and that's all. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Nice job by that defensive front there to hold him to a short gain on 1st down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run. They run a draw here on 2nd down. No dice this go-around. He's hit behind the line and taken down. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
Don't forget about finding a lane there. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. Probably fortunate he was able to hold on to the football.
He'll drop to throw. And that is intercepted on the sideline. Wait, no. They'll say no. It was caught out of bounds. So this is just an incompletion here.
I think when they get back in the huddle, the question will be, why did you throw that one? The coverage was incredible all over him. The only thing he didn't do after he caught the ball as a defender was get his feet in bounds. That should have been a turnover.
And this is right down the middle as he puts it through. And they double him up here. That makes our score 20-10. So he splits the uprights there, and I would imagine it's nice as a kicker. Right when it leaves your foot, you know it's good.
Yeah, it's kind of like a golfer that picks up his tee after a nice drive without even watching it land.
Solid analogy. I like it. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. He is knocking on the door for 100 yards in this ball game.
And it's so important. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Just short of it, a little bit over. A little bit over feels better to everyone. Offensive line, running back, team totals, just something magical about breaking that barrier.
He's right there on the doorstep now. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. And that is Allen still down following the play. Appears to be shaken up. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. Second down following the run.
Let's go.
And not much. Maybe a yard up to the 29.
Back-to-back runs, I'd say that encompassed maximum effort for minimal gain.
Minimal yardage, and now they're going to need something more than minimal on this play coming up. The Redskins on third down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6.
Here we go now. Boom, landed.
They'll look to throw here. He's going to float this one deep right side. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 22. And they are going to take over right there at the 22-yard line.
Okay, partner, no surprise to you. I'm going to look at this from the defensive perspective. In the rain, you have to be more cautious trying to cover passing routes. Why? The offense knows where they're going with the football. The receiver knows the route he's going to run. You have to make sure you keep your footing underneath you.
And checking in on what's going on up in the Meadowlands. And the Giants are starting to pull away in that one. Remember to keep an eye on the ticker, of course, at the bottom of your screen for updates on that game and others around the NFL. And he'll give it here to his running back. That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down. Now, that play was doomed right from the start.
They just about ran into every defender on that one, didn't he? It felt like everyone got a piece of that tackle.
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks. 5th catch of the game for him there.
Yeah, and the tight end position is now becoming a volume pass catcher. Used to be occasional, right? Safety valve. Throw one to him every so often, but mainly they want him out there to block. Nowadays, an integral part of the passing game, and they create such great mismatches that they often become the leading receiver.
Offense comes to the line now, 1st and 10. Now they'll run on the draw. And he's across the 40, 3 extra yards to the 43. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
See if they stay on the ground for 2nd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. Only a gain of a yard, but that's all they needed, as that's going to move the chains.
2nd and 1 is often an invitation to take the big shot downfield. I bet the offensive lineman said, are you kidding? We just get on our backs and let's go get the 1st down. They love being physical.
A check of the scoreboard there in the 3rd in Baltimore. And the Ravens have added to their lead. And we'll keep an eye on that one as our game goes along here.
Hurry up, here we go. Green, 39.
They'll look to throw. And a quick throw here, that's complete. Able to corral him right at the midfield stripe following that sparkling display of footwork we saw. A gain of 6 there on 1st. So the offense readies for a 2nd and 4. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. But just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive. First down and 10 now for the offensive group.
Let's go! 319! 319!
And he will find his man on the outside. And he's brought down. Give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
Fresh set of downs here. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. They'll look to throw now on first down. Throws a quick hitter on the slant. That's complete. A gain of 6 there on first.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. It's a loss of 4. Now third down.
Count me as a little bit surprised by what we just saw there, because this has been a pretty long drive, and normally you think that wears down a defense. In this case, looked like the offensive line let them down a little bit.
Yeah, allowed the penetration and the ability to stuff them for a loss. The Panthers on third down. They've converted 3 times in 8 chances. This is 3rd and 7.
All right, here we go. 319! 319!
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this third quarter. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now at FedEx Field. It's the Panthers out in front and in control of the football as well as we begin quarter number 4.
All right, here we go. Watch it now, Barney.
On third down, that's Fisher. And he's going to get this one down to the 30. 2 yards on the pickup there. It's 4th down. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. It'll come from the right hash. It's a 47-yard attempt. I don't think this will even, nope, it doesn't even get there. Well short, and this score will stay right where it is.
I tell you, it's not easy kicking field goals in the best of conditions. Yet in a downpour like we're in right now, it makes it that much harder. And sure enough, they can't convert here.
Comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here. They are looking to make a bit of a 180. They are sputtering right now.
And frankly, I think it's time to call your playmakers together and say, all right, guys, we're going to lean on you through this patch. We need you to get us back on track and get us going in the right direction. So you're calling plays geared to them. Not necessarily what you look at your plays, oh, this hurts the defense. I want the ball in the hands of.
Pressure comes in. He's brought down. It's a Panther sack.
Okay, was it a breakdown in protection? Did the running back not pick him up? What does it really matter? Sometimes it's just a great play made by the defense. Big-time sack.
So the sack on first down there by the defense, and now it's 2nd down.
Hurry up, here we go. Green 39. Green 39. Hot.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. It'll be a 2-yard gain, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. The Redskins on 3rd down. They've had their troubles. Just 1 for 6. This is 3rd and 9.
Hurry up, here we go. Green 39. Green 39.
Looking to throw. And this this is going to be incomplete. The Redskins send out their punter. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way into the end zone for a touchback. The Panthers offense here, they get ready to head back on the field. Now, they had compiled a pretty long drive last time. Unfortunately, though, it ended with no points after the missed field goal.
And that can hurt the psyche of a team because as they drove downfield, you know you're never supposed to count points in your mind until they go up on the board. Well, let's face it, we've been there. We've seen teams before. They were counting on those points. They didn't get them. Can they come back now, start over again, and grind it out?
He was out there waving his arms saying, throw it here, dropped it, not a good look.
Well, all I can do is just look at him with contempt on that one. As a defensive back, I'm saying, not as an announcer. Just like, really?
A little bit of a diva look, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Because I think what happens is he just had too much time to think. He's wide open now. Here comes the ball. And he doesn't concentrate and drops it.
And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively.
They'll run it now out of the gun. A good run there on first down, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 2. So the solid run on first, and I would imagine no real hurry to run that 2nd down play.
No, it's all in your quarterback now. He's going to keep an eye on the play clock and bleed things down, and he's not going to let the ball be snapped until it's inside 3 seconds left on the play clock. Unless, of course, you're playing a video game, you're trying to run it up on your friend.
Nice touch. Cold-blooded, too. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. It's a gain of 4 there, and it gives him a new set of downs. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge. Some think that teams really won't throw a slant route unless you have a receiver that has a lot of stature to him. But sometimes the little guys, they get lost in there. People can't really locate them, and they run that quick cut on the slant, and oftentimes they can turn it into big plays.
Oh, he's got some breathing room. And he will avoid the contact as he slides to a stop. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains. Now a handoff here to his running back. And a short gain down to about the 33. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
favorite target yet again. It's complete. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
And now inside the red zone, the offense will operate. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. It's a 10-yard gain there, and it sets him up now 1st and goal. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what we said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3-and-out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
Going to give this time to the tailback. A good run of 6 yards there. Gets him closer to the goal line with second down coming up. Able to stay in bounds, and the clock keeps rolling. And this defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in. And all you're doing when you're talking to your defensive teammates is first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
Call it no gain that time, and now it's 3rd and goal. And in this situation with a lead 4th quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and that'll bring up 4th down.
This offense bent the defense in their long drive downfield, but once they got within sight of the goal line, the defense went to don't break mode and is stiffened.
On the NFL scoreboard, 4th quarter now at Soldier Field. Now you saw the score at the bottom of your screen a moment ago. We got a good one going on there. If they hold on, a victory there would be their 3rd of the year. So it's Panther football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. From the left hash, a chip shot here. And his kick is indeed good. And that will extend their lead even further. So they settle for just the 3 there, but clearly anything helps when you're trying to salt one away here in the 4th.
Without a doubt, I think a touchdown would have been the final nail. But 3 does give them some breathing room and lets them build up a little cushion.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This is taken near the 13. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. No gain on that one, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. Throw left side complete. It's Moody. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this into enemy territory across the 40. A big 3rd down conversion with a gain of 28. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for the sack. Clock running as the Redskins try to hurry up. Wide open receiver complete. And they're able to get this one down to the 25.
A really nice gain of 25 yards. They'll look to throw here on first down. And this is caught at the 8. And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20. And this is caught now for a late touchdown. So hold everything here. This one's not over yet. Okay, game on. Don't go anywhere yet. You got a one-score game now. Probably going to rely on the onside kick coming up.
Yeah, they have to. It's not a high-percentage play, but it's better than not having a chance at all. And that's when you put your leapers and your flyers on one side, get that high hop, and hope that one of the guys can come up with it.
And on the other side, get that hands team ready.
No doubt about it.
And the lead will shrink to 6. So with under 30 seconds to play, this is the game right here. And the Panthers are going to recover here. And that should be enough to get them the victory. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take it inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this fourth quarter of play. So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready. On third down, it's Fisher. And he picks up the first before he's taken down at the 29. Now the defense will burn their third and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. The defense, they got a little bit of a breather. Now they're back and set as we resume play. They go down to a knee and a sigh of relief as they are into the win column for the first time this year. Well, Charles, the forecast called for rain throughout the entire game, and we got rain throughout the entire game. But these two teams, they had fun getting dirty out there. They love the slop.
Did you trust the forecast ahead of time? Are you one of those guys that's skeptical about it, or did you trust it?
But when I saw just a big blob of green on the radar, I said, okay, let's trust.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you took my advice. Get your notes laminated, because, you know, open-air booth, that rain can affect us as well, although not as much as the guys on the field. But let's face it, it's kind of fun to watch these types of games, isn't it?
It is. By the way, how impressive is it that you travel with a laminator? I didn't even know there was a portable laminator.
The things that you learn.
Golly, wise beyond his years. So for the Panthers, they're into the win column now as they move to 1-2 on the young season. And they'll get another road test next week as they have to go to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Meanwhile, for the Redskins, they will fall to a similar mark at 1-2. And they'll get a home date next week against the Detroit Lions. So that's a wrap. For Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. With that, we sign off from Landover.